at least for 5 minutes or 10 minutes when we do that chanting, we will try to ensure that we knowingly chant. There is a total involvement of all our inner faculties. Not that the chanting is going on, thinking is going on, hearing is going on, no, like that. Now it is dissipated unknowingly. Now we are trying to pull the entire faculty and pull it in but one particular line. It is not a Herculean task. You and I have done it when we prepare for our exam. When we are somebody gives us, the boss gives us a target to be hit, on a particular date. We forget about everything, immerse ourselves totally in it, and the outcome will be that it will be excellence, perfection. Even when you cook, when you put the various ingredients at the appropriate time, ultimately it becomes a tasty recipe. Otherwise, we know what happens. So this is not something which we are unaware of, but at the same time, it goes by itself. So now let us try. It is not that it is not that it is impossible, because we have done it. We are doing it even today. Wherever there is a dedication, where there is a love, the total involvement is always there. So when I try to chant, I must know that I must be doing it whole souled. There should be a whole souled involvement in my chanting. And we have also seen from the lives of Mahatmas that this becomes an innate nature of them. That is why we put it for our own reminder's sake. Nothing is irrelevant, nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant. What does it mean? Everything is significant, everything is relevant, everything is important. We will try for 5 or 10 minutes, especially during our chanting period. Suppose we have taken up some reading. Initially, the mind gets completely thoroughly involved in it. Later on, proportionate to the interest we have developed to the theme, that concentration will be there. When there is an aberration or dilution, we will find the mind goes out, though outwardly we may be reading. Immediately we stop and go back. Pujya Swami Shuddhananda ji, he was handling correspondence. He will be sitting in the first room with the typewriter. On those days there was no computer. He will be typing out. Suddenly he will doze. Everything will come to a standstill. Suppose we are passing through that, we used to observe him. And after a few minutes or a few seconds, he's back again. He will be able to type out from where he left. He doesn't have to go through again. Again, pata 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 pata, he will be doing it. Initially, we were unable to understand. Then it was very clear to us that whatever he does it with a whole-souled mind, so that the thread is not broken. Though for a moment he dozes off, immediately when he is back, he is in a position to connect it up perfectly. Uma, you can sit here, no? Here you can come. Uma, you can come here, no?
இங்கிலீஷ் ஃபாலோ பண்ண முடியாதுன்றா. மேல பெறலாம். மேல.
So it is not the question of we are learning to do it. We are all doing it, but at the same time, we have not been able to keep up the same level of our concentration during our involvement. Probably, if we check up, we will know that it is a lack of love toward this, or too many activities taken up at one time. So 5 minutes or 10 minutes we will try whatever we do. We have that know-how in us. Even though you may say we are not having that much concentration. Right from morning till evening, there are so many things where you totally involve yourself and get it done. Only when it comes at the time of Ramnam chanting or going a little more deeper into the subjective topics, because it has not touched our heart, that's all. So we try. And only when we consciously do, the joy will be there, no? That all. Somebody comes all the way from a distant place and brings you a sweet and gives you the sweet and insists that you should taste. Suppose your mind is on something else. You would have put it on your mouth, but you would not have enjoyed it. But suppose it is followed, he has come, they have brought it all the way from them, they are insisting, you will take it later, no, you should take it now. Then you put when you put a piece of sweets on your tongue, suppose you reverently bring their connection, their love, then the taste becomes more sweeter than what it was. So what is required is a total involvement, which is not something foreign to us, which we have not been able to sustain in all our activity, that's all. So some small adjustment is necessary where we try to extend this mindset in all. And we will be able to diagnose also which are the areas where we are not in a position to hold on to it. So consciously chanting. That is why Papa is bringing the word attributes, because when we are chanting, we are unable to concentrate on any form. So suppose we are thinking about a particular form, then that form comes before us. Here it is on the Nirguna Niragar aspect. So the mind cannot hold on, the thought cannot hold on to a particular object. So the chances of the mind going here and there are more. In cooking, we are ingredients are there. The theory of what should be the proportion that is there. So many things are there to help us. Suppose we are singing, the lyrics, the raga, the tala, all those things, it somehow makes you to involve within the boundaries. But in Nama chanting, what is lacking is that we don't have a technique. So with the result, though the Nama chanting goes on after 2 or 3 or 4, the mind goes elsewhere. So that is why Papa is insisting that please keep on hammering the attributes. We are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making us to chant. So where from the sound comes. Some device. Anything else?
Swamiji,
Ah.
when we sit for Ramnam chanting with our eyes closed, நம்மளுக்கு வந்து as கல்லாக்கு வந்து பப்பாவோட blissful ஃபேஸும் பாதமும் கண் முன்னாடி வருது. அதையும் தாண்டி போனோம் நிர்குண நிராகாரனாக்கா அதுதான் எப்படி?
தாண்டி போகணும் இல்லை. The only thing is we should know that the nameless, formless reality has been made known to me through this form. So while revering the form, we are also trying our level best to connect to the nameless, formless aspect.
Okay.
Something like that, no?
Okay.
Because when Mataji wanted us to read 11 times of In Quest of God, she made it clear that she was prompted to suggest 11 times so that we will start going within. That particular word, we have to keep on bringing it.
Swamiji,
Ah.
by chanting, by doing conscious chanting, concentratedly, we will be able to see consciousness everywhere.
By consciously chanting?
Will we be able to see consciousness everywhere instead of material?
What is that, Conscious is not an abstract, it's an abstract thing. It is not tangible, na? So the existence of a material, the existence of a matter is known to us because of that. What is consciousness? Can we explain? We can't. The fact that you are now hearing, that knowing principle, the fact that you are now seeing, that knowing principle, consciousness can never be objectified, na? And consciousness is God. On the book then. Adhe then. We call it as witness consciousness. Consciousness is trying to understand the word consciousness, no? And it cannot come from outside.
Now I understand. Yes, sir.
That is important, very important, very important. That is why it is like life force intertwined with consciousness. We can try to understand closer. If we can use that word, probably it might be able to give us more clarity. He is the life force, and at the same time, he is consciousness. In this context, it will be appropriate to remember the words of Puja Mataji Krishna Bai. I wanted you all to read In Quest of God 11 times so that your mind would turn in to Nirguna Brahman. There is a special reason for Papa making me ask you to read In Quest of God daily for 11 days. It is intended to take you within. You may not attain Papa within you on the 11th reading, but you will at least have started going within. It is like entering the ashram gates. Once you are within the gates, you have nothing to fear. Likewise, once you turn your gaze within, you have nothing to worry. Because the first article he says, O Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection, all hail, all hail. This is the first article before he introduces the first chapter. It was about 2 years ago in 1920 that Ram first kindled in the heart of his humble slave Ramdas a keen desire to realize his infinite love. To strive to approach and understand Ram is to recede from the world of vanishing forms, because Ram is the only truth, the only reality. Ram is a subtle and mysterious power that pervades and sustains the whole universe. Birthless and deathless is He. He is present in all beings and things, and creatures who only appear as separate entities due to their ever-changing forms. To wake up from this illusion of forms is to realize at once the unity or love of Ram. Love of Ram means love of all beings, all creatures, all things in the world. Because Ram is in all is in Ram is all in all. To realize this great truth, we, who through ignorance fear separate individuals, should submit ourselves to Ram's infinite. So this is the impersonal aspect, Nirguna Brahma. So Mataji was prompted to suggest to us to take up 11 times, so that everywhere throughout, when Papa addresses Ram, that Ram is this subtle and mysterious power. So these 37 chapters, more than 400 times, he will bring the word Ram, 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 Ram. Each expression will try to touch and kindle this subtle aspect that is expected. At the moment, we would not have. We would have just said Ram. We would not have applied our mind. But by this, with this word, Mataji said, you would have gone. It is intended to take you within. That means not one or two times. 400 times or more than 400 times, he has addressed the word Ram in these 37 chapters. So when Mataji asked us to go with again, we are trying, even though 400 times we may not be able to, but we will make an attempt to remember as many times as possible that this Ram stands for the subtle and mysterious power, because of whose power now the reading is made possible, hearing is made possible, thinking is made possible. And through that, we become aware of the world. The consciousness in us makes us aware of its presence. Okay. So it's a great eye-opener. Those of us who have not still tried that can try with that bhavana. 11 times it may not be possible, okay, then at least one time, twice, we try to make a point how many times Ram comes there, how many times I've been able to go along with this, how many times it just floats on my thought level without making a deep dent.
Swamiji,
Ah.
each time Ram comes in that book IQG, maybe it is with one attribute. I must see again.
Ah. Because all attributes are different words of the same, no?
So there may be so many attributes of God.
Ah, correct.
We never realized.
Ah, correct. I would say the simple thing is the language is there, RAM, the letters. Immediately we start thinking where from it has come. When there was no English letter in the world, how one got these three letters, RAM. So it must have come from that unknown source only. So the traditional attributes we can, even if we are not in a position to remember. Non-traditional attributes are plenty, When there is no language in the world, how the language came, where from it came, and how these three words were picked to take us to a higher level, higher realm. So when we come across the word Ram, when we start thinking, close your book and start thinking about it, going deep within. That is inward journey. We can devise our own method, no? Then every time when we repeat Ram, every time we will get a new meaning. This is what Mataji wanted us, so that it doesn't nothing goes on at the superficial level. Because the very language.
Swamiji, you used to say the tree we call tree, but the word before the word came, it was still there.
So before the word came, he was still there.
Tree, or tree.
Clean.
In your
Swamiji once told tree. Before the word tree came, tree was still there.
Yeah, correct.
So I was seeing the tree and thinking, the tree doesn't know that it is called tree.
That later on we put the name, no? But so that is also one of the method. One of the method by which we try to understand the source. In Upanishads it is there, elaborately discussed. So any method, there is not one particular method we should. Any method that is okay for us. Because everything has come from that, we are trying to see that it has all come from him only. When we start viewing in that direction, it might become clearer and clearer. In Malayalam, Narayana Guruswamigal Beautifully mentioned that, no? നീയല്ലോ സൃഷ്ടിയും സൃഷ്ടിയായതും സൃഷ്ടിജാലവും സൃഷ്ടിക്കുള്ള സാമഗ്രിയായതും. So you are behind everything, you know. So not that, the only the instrument, no. You are the creation, you are the creator, you have, the ambience has been created, the tools have been created, all you are only. So suppose we take anything and then try to look at the source, then the clarity comes to us. We are acting from a known level, but before that known level there was something, which was not defined, which was not labeled, which was not identified. So even before that it was there, it has been there. So this language itself, when we take it, it becomes very clear to us. RAM. So this RAM stands for the subtle and mysterious power. Subtle and mysterious power is Nirguna Tattva. Just like electricity cannot be shown. This is electricity. Nobody will be able to say that. But when you see it in gadgets, you can say, yes, it is there. So here, the word God, that is why Papa was very clear. During his sadhana, he employed this method. So he had absolutely no confusion about it at any point of time. That is why in the first book, In Quest of God, before the chapter starts, he defined what Ram stands for. Subtle and mysterious power. We cannot bring it in the knowable category because it is subtle, not gross. It is not a matter, but it is a power. So subtle and mysterious power. Mysterious, the word is used probably to tell us that it is beginningless and endless. What can be said? When you say beginningless and endless, it's only a word, because to make us know something, that it is there, it has been there, it will continue to be there. The eternal aspect can be, how can we bring it? So he says beginningless and endless, that which stays forever. So that is why Mataji gave us a little more broader explanation. Nirguna, Nirvikara, Nirakara, Shashwata, Ananda, Swarup. Because all these words can give some more clarity. Attributeless, Nirguna, Nirakara, formless, Nirvikara, no modification of thoughts.
That prayer helps Swamini. Adi Antarahita. Adi Antarahita Param Pujya Papa.
സർവവ്യാപിയായി വിശ്വമായി പ്രകടിച്ചു. Mataji knows our problem. So that is why she brought that. She told Puja Swamiji to draft out. And then Malayalam she can understand. So that was read out again, fine-tuned. Finally, what we Oh, beginningless and endless Param Pujya Papa, you are all pervading. You have manifested as the entire universe, and you reside in everything. That particular word is insufficient. So then we just simply recite and go, no. So we will try to understand what is called all-pervading, what is beginningless and endless, how can we conceive a beginningless and endless phenomenon. All those things will go, so that if we don't just repeat it. In Mataji's case, the experience came out in the form of words. We are trying to read what they have said. That is the difference. To them, it was an expression of their experience, revelations. To us, it is only a copy paste. So it will not have its dent. That is why, in spite of reading so many times, repeating so many times, we still lack any clarity on these words. We have to apply. What does it stand for? All our slogas, Brahmanandam, how can we understand? It is so brihat, so expansive. Paramasukhatam. Bliss, total bliss. Kevalam, only thing. Jnanamurtim, embodiment of knowledge. Dandvaditam, beyond the two. Brahmanandam, Paramasukhatam, Kevalam, Jnanamurtim, Dandvaditam, Gagana Sadrisham. It is like the sky, space, which has no end and beginning. Tattvamasyadi Laksham. That is the one which I have to reach. Ekam, only one. Nityam, ever existing, eternal. Sarvadi Sakshibhudam, the ever present witness consciousness. Bhavatitam, beyond all bhavas, all modifications. Triguna again, beyond all three gunas. Such a one, Sadgurum Tam Namami. So by that, they wanted us to get some idea about the Nirguna Nirakara aspects, which has also come in the form of Nama and Loma. So we can employ any method by which, we can realize his nature through name and form, through nameless, formless aspect. Because name and form also floats in the nameless, formless aspect. Easy to identify, easy to concentrate.
You have been talking about the God as an interweaver between the consciousness and the life force, am I right?
Intertwined.
Intertwined, okay. Now, I don't understand how can we separate.
It can't be separated.
So it is the same called in two different things.
Yeah. Why it was separated, Life, it's a force that is going on. To become conscious of it, a machine is switched on. It becomes vitalized, enlivening. It produces. But unless the consciousness is there, what is the difference between human being and a machine? It's also power is generated, but it has no life. It has no consciousness of its own. So that is why we say life force intertwined with consciousness. Some method to make understand.
Okay.
Normally, when we say power, energy, it goes to a machine, no? Now we are working, we switch on, it becomes all right. But it has no consciousness of its own, no? So consciousness and this energy put joined together, it expresses in the form of an individual. He is not a machine. At the same time, he is not inert insentient, no. It is vibrant. There is a power that is working through our eye. The seeing is made possible because of a process. Process from where, no? So for enabling us to easily understand, we can say, because even in Bhagavad Gita, these three words have been used. And Papa used to use that three words. Consciousness, power, consciousness, intelligence. These are the three things by which, we become aware of his presence.
Our consciousness is okay. What is intelligence you're talking about?
When there was no specs, somebody should conceive of who guides him.
It is a function of an intellect.
Who guides him? It is a memorized, whatever memory is there. Suppose you are working on a project. Previously, you must have had some experience about something, that triggers. But here, nothing. Somebody sees a wheat or a paddy. What is it that makes him to remove the husk? That part we call it as intelligence, primordial intelligence. Nobody is there to guide. It is coming from within. So whatever creature comfort we are enjoying, when there is no sari, somebody should conceive, When there is no pan, somebody should conceive. When there is no building, when there is no electricity, overall intelligence. Even the language. Prior to A to Z, nobody is there to guide with A to Z. So he made somebody to bring these 26 letters. So behind everything that we see now, it is primordial intelligence. Buddhir buddhivatamasmi. I am the intelligence of the intellect.
The intellect is a tool which absorbs the intelligence and produces the material that uses the mankind uses. And similarly, one more thing. You talked about there was a devotee who was asking a question. Am I audible? Okay. And there was a devotee who was asking a question, saying that when I meditate, when I chant Ram, I see the face of Papaji and I see the
Padam
of Papaji. And then you have been talking about, okay, you see the formless has been expressed through this form, and through the form you are going to the formless. As you were telling, my thought was that when I am using the word Ram is a word, and when I use it, it becomes a sound. It's a mental sound or a verbal sound, right? Now, before the word is uttered, the silence was there. When the word is uttered, the silence is very much there. Above presupposition is what the sound is happening. After the sound Ram is over, again silence is going to exist, right? So I use the form to get into by inference. Similarly, I use the sound to get into the silence by inference.
Correct.
So I can use it the same way.
perfectly. Sound is the expression of the soundlessness.
Can you say silence then?
Silence. It has come from silence only.
But one thing is that in defining the God, whatever you have been talking about the slokas, Nirguna, Niragara, whatever it may be, nowhere he talked about the silence. Why is it so? It's a good thing if I'm wrong with that.
There's no special reason, because silence is abstract,
Silence is subtle.
It is abstract. We cannot say this is silence, this is silence. Right. There is no specific reason. Elaborately about silence, Papa used to say.
Swamiji,
Ah,
Swami Vivekananda says silence is Brahman.
silence is Brahman. But why, though it is silent, we are trying to express it through sound.
So silence is a substrate and sound comes and goes, right?
Correct. Unless and until we do some inward journey,
Okay.
if you're talking about silence, what does it mean? Opposite,
Essence of sound.
opposite to sound. So that is why it is a stage where we reach. Preferable, Dakshinamurti slogam says here, he will reach that and stop there. Because what is that? It cannot be explained. That is the state of realization, we would say. All other things are, we are discussing about silence, okay. But we have not moved toward the silence.
But we understand silence.
You can understand silence only when you stop thinking,
No, I'm talking about audible silence. I'm not talking about the image.
That is okay. But here what is meant is the ultimate silence.
Swamiji.
Eh?
அப்போ அது வந்து இட்ஸ் an experience you are telling.
It's an experience. Elaborate, we have a PPT also.
Swamiji, அது கொடுத்துடுங்க Swamiji, எங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கொடுத்துடுங்க. Then there won't be any question.
என்ன?
அந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கொடுத்துடுங்க எங்களுக்கு.
Give us one experience in your own way so that we understand it better.
Silence. Silence.
எல்லாமே கான்சியஸ்னஸ், சைலன்ஸ், என்னென்னவோ கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கேட்குறோம், ஆனா ஆன்சர் இஸ் ஒன்லி ஒன். அந்த ஆன்சரை கொடுத்துடுங்க முதலியாவே.
Then where the thoughts also stop, words don't come out. At the same time, we are not unconscious. What is that? That is that. And it has been with us, it is with us. Instead of objectifying it, we are trying to feel the subjective experience. That is why we often remember, Puja Swami, Chinmayanandaji, when he was trying to make us understand, this type of questions were asked. And then finally, he got fed up with us. When the last thought was thoughted, immediately he looked and said, "Now you got it."
Come again? Daughter is it.
When the last thought was thoughted, there is no word called thoughted.
Correct.
So he said, never mind the grammar.
Okay.
Normally when we put ed,
It was
past tense.
Correct.
So what is there in the after past tense? The moment you explain, you are not. So in order to make us to capture that moment, he said, never mind the grammar. When the last thought was thoughted, and stopped. And he was looking at, now you got it. You cannot explain. That means the interval between one word to another word, one thought to another thought, no? Om Shri Ram. There is an interval between Shri and Ram, which we don't know. We have not recognized. Even in the English word SRI, there is a difference, there is an interval between S and R. We are not conscious of it. But without that, the SRI cannot come. And then the next one is RAM. There is a gap. So silence is there, has been there every time. Because of all these modifications, sound, letters, we are becoming unaware of the base.
Swamiji,
Ah.
but how can we, matlab, how our thoughts cannot come? Means continuously thoughts are coming. Only sometimes for a pause between one thought and another thought, one pause is there. That's the silence. I'm asking that.
You have to feel for yourself. If somebody interprets,
As it is when we close the eyes or when we watch something, continuously
don't
thoughts will
don't
come.
don't struggle. Don't struggle to capture that. Just start watching the interval between one sound and another sound, one word and another word, one alphabet from alphabet. That is why 5 minutes setup we set apart in the morning when the mind is fresh. All these exercises we can do that. That which is with us, which has been with us, we are not aware. So we are trying to capture that, Now the interval between one sound and the another sound, one letter and the another sound. And suppose we are chanting Ram Nam, Om Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Previously we were not aware of it. We never knew that there is an interval. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram. Now we are trying to understand that is why it is separate. And then again we go a little more deeper. Even in that Sri, there are, what is that? Suppose we try to apply, then only what Papa says, it becomes very, very clear to us. So it is not that we are struggling to understand silence.
So we have not to force our thoughts to stop.
Huh?
We should not force our thoughts to stop.
Let it go. Understand who is.
Because when we see the thought and we try to push it out, our head becomes heavy. Matlab, no, this thought should not come, this should
No,
thought should
need.
not come.
Allow it.
So,
In the small book called Inward Journey, we have culled it out and put it there. He specifically mentions about this. How to become aware of the silence which is with us or which has been with us. Just witness. Let any thought come and go. We are trying to put one thought in a particular place. We will never succeed. But at the same time, suppose we start watching the thoughts. Good thought, bad thought, deplorable, noble, constructive, destructive. Well, let it be anything. But you are now becoming aware of the presence of the thought. Now slowly, who is becoming aware? Where from that awareness comes? Immediately the rest of the things drop off. And what he has mentioned in his 37th chapter, serene. No doubt. But it is sweetest also, watching the experience. Anyway, all those things we need not now break our head. When we are on that process, the guidance will come from within. Today he is making us aware of the gap between two letters, two sound. That is our original nature. That is, somebody said, silence is he. Silence is Brahman. I don't know whether I can get this. How to get back? Yes, 1 minute. I will try. No, not opening. Silence. somehow, somewhere it has gone.
Inward journey song.
Hmm.
It is there. In the
No,
first, no, in the first room it is there.
not the book.
Swamiji, we can put on Google Swami
And,
Shivananda's
no,
name.
it has come, it has come. I don't know whether you get it or not. You can see, I'll read it out, okay? And Papa says, bhajan must lead you into silence. Everybody can hear?
Yes, Swamiji.
Bhajan must lead you into silence. Silence not merely orally but mentally. That stage of silence you must reach soon without going on making noises all the life. Utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. Out of silence, again Papa's words, out of silence tremendous forces are released. Wonders are worked. Learn to be silent. It is not merely outer silence but inner silence, silence of the mind. When we recede into the depths of silence within us, we arrive at the true basis of our life. We discover that from this source, all life and manifestation have come forth in their amazing variety and multiplicity. It is at this source, that is silence, that we discover the eternal fountain of peace and joy. Until an individual gets the vision of this fundamental existence, that means the silence within us, he will be simply groping on the surface and therefore in the dark, in pursuit of vain and evanescent things, believing that these can yield him the true peace and happiness which his soul hungers for. He is beyond our comprehension. Therefore, silence is he. Silence is Brahman. The self does not require silence, it is always silent. Swami Shivanandaji says, purify the mind and meditate, be still and know that you are God. Calm the mind, silence the bubbling thoughts and surging emotions, plunge deep into the innermost recess of your heart. God or Brahman is supreme silence, soul is silence, peace is silence, Atman is silence. Silence is the language of Brahman. Silence is the language of the heart. Silence is the language of the sage. Silence is immense strength. Silence is great eloquence. Silence is God. Silence is the substratum for this body, mind, prana, senses. Silence is the background for this entire sense universe. Silence is power. Silence is a living force. Silence is the only reality. The peace that passeth all understanding is silence. The goal of your life is silence. The aim of your life is silence. The purpose of your existence is silence. Behind all noises and sound is silence, the innermost soul. Silence is thy real name. Silence is intuitive experience. Silence helps the intuitional self to express itself. Mysterious is this silence. To go into silence is to become God. Enter into silence. Know the silence. Enjoy the magnanimous silence. Become silence itself. Realize God now and here. So, in our inward journey, if we can try all these, somewhere we will find some opening. And it is not, previously we were searching for silence, Then we know it is from the silence only even the searching has taken place. So we started today with consciousness and enough food for thought. Let us try to retain as much as possible. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swami.
Okay. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Pranam, 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 pranam. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om to everybody.